Welcome to this week's Gig Diary. These are the videos where I try and give you an idea of what it's like to be a professional musician working in the UK. Now I'm going to try and broaden the scope of these videos from just showing solos I'm doing on my gigs throughout the week to some gear reviews, etc. So I might change the name of these videos to something like TJTV. What do you think of that? Let me know, leave me a comment. I might get my daughter to make me a logo or something like that. Anyway, coming up on this week's video, first of all, a bit of funk on acoustic guitar. Some rather interesting audience interaction.
No one do that song. They were singing along.
Some nice fields. And a masterclass in how to put a PA together. First thing I want to show you this week is I'm in another magazine. Now, a few weeks ago I showed you I appeared in Hello magazine. Now, this wasn't really about me in this one. I was playing at a wedding from one of the dancers at Strictly Come Dancing, and I appeared in the background, there I am, of one of the photos. But this one, I'm sort of in it. My song is on the front cover CD, which is called Unheard of R&R magazine. Now this is definitely available in the UK, I don't know where else you can get it. Available at all good retailers, but yeah, go and get it. My song With and Without You is on the CD. I'll put a link actually to the video for With and Without You that's on my channel. And there's an advert in here as well for my new album, which I unfortunately had to move the date back. The advert in here says the 5th of August the album's going to be released, but we had to shove the date back to October. But there is an advert in here, can't find it right now, but that's for the new album which is going to be coming out called Halfway to Somewhere. That's going to be coming out in October, but check that out, check out the video. Secondly, now this has got absolutely nothing to do with music, but proud dad moment. My daughter last year there, because it's the end of the school year, they're doing an experience week at school, and my daughter entered the bake-off competition at school, and she ended up winning. Now here's a photo of her with her certificate. Now I have to say it was quite stressful for me and cost me quite a lot of money in ingredients and cake tins, but very proud of her for winning. She seems to enter these things without any expectation to win and doesn't really worry too much about losing. She just does it because she wants to do it, and she won, so very pleased with her. So there we are, well done Ellie. Now I am still going to show you some of my gigs, so I'm going to start off. This is my regular gig at the Black Lion in Brighton. I've shown lots of clips from this video, and I've probably shown myself playing a solo over this song lots of times, but I do it differently every time. This is a slightly different one. So here we are. This is using my Strat going through my normal pedal board setup, which I've shown on these videos before, and this is a solo over the song Valerie. Something a bit different. The next gig I used a new PA system, so I thought, well, I'm going to do a little review of the PA system. It's actually my wife's PA system that she's bought, so I'm going to show you that. Here we go. This week my wife bought a new PA system. She runs a kids group, and she's had this little Bluetooth speaker which isn't often loud enough for the job, so she's been umming and ahhing, is that the right word? Umming and erring for ages about buying a new PA, and I looked into it for her, and what looked like the best option was this Mackie Flex. And I've used it on a gig, but first I'm going to do a review here before I show you the gig footage of doing it. Now, it's very compact. It's literally just this and this. So let me show you how you set it up. This is the tricky bit. It doesn't come out this particularly easily, but I think it will loosen up as you use it. It's better to be snug, I suppose. Once you get the first one out, it gets easier. Now, I'm going to tell you something interesting about these in a minute. Because in the catalogue, or the reviews, it says you can put them in at any height. Which made me think, or you can put as many of them in as you like. Now you've got one of them, which has got the little Mackie man on it. And that one, because of the way it's set up, that's the only one that can go in at the top, because nothing can go in the top of it. But what I thought was you could just stick any of them in and they'd all kind of just keep adding to the sound. So we plugged them all in all configurations, and when you plug them all in, it reaches up, well, taller than me, which isn't saying much, but it goes up to a normal kind of PA pole height. And we were listening, and there didn't seem to be any sound coming out of the other two apart from the top one. So we phoned the place that we got it from, which was Gear for Music, who've been very good actually. And the guy at the other end was very knowledgeable, and he said, lift these ones up and see how heavy they feel compared to this one. And I was like, oh yeah, it's much lighter. He went, well, these haven't got any speakers in. They're literally just a pass through, and it's just to raise the height of this 6-speaker line array. So in actual fact, there's no point, for the purposes of this, putting the all two in, because it just puts the speaker up to that height. But it's handy and it looks quite good. So what I'm going to do for the purposes of this demo is just put that one in, and not these two additional ones. And I'm going to put it up here so you can see it. So that's what it is. Now let me get my GoPro and I'll show you it in more detail. So this is the socket that you plug it into, and this is the speaker end. So with this, rather than putting in the other two blank bits, I'm just going to put this one in, because this is all we need, because it's no louder with the other two in. And this is the little onboard mixer, which is pretty simple, and it's quite nice the way it works. Actually, let me plug it in. It's more useful to see it working. So yeah, you just plug it in quite simply here. Turn it on. It takes a minute to boot up. And you'll notice none of the knobs have a little indicator on, but as soon as you move it, this little meter tells you where you are, which is good actually. And you've got 3 different EQ settings. You've got live, so that suits a mic and a guitar. Speech, if you're just going to speak, and music, if it's just going to play recorded music. You can Bluetooth your phone to it and play music, so you don't have to use that line in, but you can as well. 3 different reverb settings. 1, 2 and 3 is just the length of the reverb, and you can adjust the amount of reverb on these 2 channels. So for acoustic guitar and vocal, it's absolutely perfect. You can switch over to the guitar setting, and you can plug in a XLR or jack, and then you've got this stereo channel here, which is probably useful for sticking an external mixer in, and yeah, this channel which has got either the mini jack in or Bluetooth, and you can send out to another speaker as well. And all in all, I think this sounds pretty good, so I'll demo to you now what it sounds like. What I'm going to do first is plug straight in so you can hear what it sounds like without going through any other effects. So let's plug this in here. Oh, got it set a bit loud. Turn it down. So this is set to the live EQ setting. Let's just put a bit of reverb on just to here. So this is reverb 1, this is the shortest reverb. Let's put that up to about half. the channel is pretty flat there. But as I say, that's with the live EQ preset. Let me just change it to this is the music one. And this is the speech one. So there's subtle changes, but the live one definitely sounds best for live, surprisingly enough. And there's an app that you can control it all with, which seems pretty good. It just controls the settings that are on there. A little bit more detail. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the built-in reverb off, and I'm going to plug in my quad cortex with the looper and just show you what it sounds like with a bit more full range going through it. I've got my quad cortex plugged in now, and this is on the setting that I've shown on several of my other videos. This is my hybrid mode where I've got the I've put a cab block and an impulse response for an acoustic guitar on it. I've also got some EQ on it and some reverb built into the preset. So I've turned the reverb off on the PA. So this is what it sounds like through the quad cortex with all my extra acoustic guitar bits. Sounds very nice. There's lots of detail in the treble. Probably be a bit more bassy if it was on the floor, but I thought it was best to show it here. You can see it. Right, so let's do a bit of looping with the octaver as well. Let's hear what that sounds like. All in all, I'm pretty impressed with this. Just all I need now to take on the gig, and I'll show you what it looked like in the boot of my car, is just that in the little bag, my quad cortex in the case, and my guitar on a mic stand if I'm going to sing. So that's all I need. It's reduced the amount of gear I need by about, well, I've got about a quarter of the amount of stuff when I use my big JBL PA. So I just need to ask my wife if I can borrow it now. It's got this new PA. I can't believe this is it. That's all I need for a solo gig. There we are, that was it loaded in the car. Now here's a little video, a little walkthrough at the gig, showing my setup of how simple it was, or what a small amount of gear. It was such a small amount of gear on the way there, I was convinced I was going to have forgotten something. So I'm going to show you a little clip of, so you can hear what it sounds like on the gig. Now it was quite noisy in the bar, and my only worry with this PA is it's not quite loud enough, because the limit light was coming on. It was definitely just about loud enough, but anything much bigger might struggle a little bit. But all in all, it sounds pretty good. So this is a solo from Take It Easy by the Eagles. Have a listen to this.
Take it easy. And I thought I'd show you this. I ended up getting a bit of abuse from some young guy right in front of me
I played Pinball Wizard as the last song, and he seemed to think because he didn't know the song that nobody knew the song and that I should have played something that everybody knew. Despite the fact the rest of the pub was singing along, which I pointed out, he didn't seem to agree with me. Anyway, I'll just show you this. You can hear him, you can't see him. Anyway, I thought I'd show you this. Just shows what it's like sometimes, the downside of gigging.
See you next time.
No one knew that song.
They were singing along.
What, 2 people?
Everyone knows that one.
Everyone knows. I've got to do one that everyone knows. Sing along. Sing along.
Moving on to the next day, slightly different change of scene, moving on to a very rural setting. There's lots of barns in the UK that they've turned into wedding venues, and quite often they're in the middle of nowhere. And here we are, here's some little panoramics of near I was. We were actually very near the sea, right on the south coast of England. We could see the Isle of Wight, which is an island off the south coast of England. And then just a little clip from the gig, very appropriately, this song is called Sunny. So this was just, we were sat on a hay bale, playing some nice music, so here's just a little clip. Then on to the last gig of the week. Now this is something that hasn't happened to me for a long time. I got booked as the rhythm guitarist. The Alex is the lead singer and lead guitarist of this band, very good singer and guitarist, and I was booked to play rhythm guitar because the normal rhythm guitarist was playing bass and the bass player wasn't on the gig. So this was an interesting and different experience for me, and it was made it a very different gig, and it made me realise actually when I'm doing soloing I get a real adrenaline rush. It's not about people watching me soloing or anything like that. It's actually, I think it's the concentration and the all-encompassing, it's almost like that mindfulness thing you're going for. When you meditate, everything is concentrating on the soloing. I've never noticed it before because normally I'm soloing all the time, I just take it for granted, but because I wasn't, I didn't get that. And when I did do a couple of solos, I really noticed it. So that was something, you learn something every day, don't you, when you're out there gigging. So here's a very quick clip of it. It actually started with this song, it was Johnny Be Good. So very quick clip of that. I'll leave you that. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about the new name ideas for names for this little weekly vlog that I do of my working life as a musician. So I'm uploading new videos every week, every Friday, so please hit subscribe, hit like, leave me a comment, let me know what you should think I should call these videos, and I'll see you next week.